everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you have not yet, be sure to subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell down below so you guys can get notified every single time I upload a new video. Now today's video, it was a highly requested one, okay? So one time I kind of mentioned in my video if you guys would like to see a highlight and contour video, and everybody was crazy DMing me, oh my god, you better bust out with this video, because I actually had gotten this video requested a long time ago and I said I was gonna do it and I never did it, so I was like, I gotta come through this time. Now I do want to point out that not only is this highlight and contour routine good for on camera, you know, taking selfies, pero it'll look very good when you are out and about at a party, out in the sunlight. It will look very nice and natural. All right, you guys, let's jump right into the video.
Suavemente. Suavemente.
Did you guys notice something? Like, I look a little bit more tanner. So over the weekend we went to Souffle City, and girl, that thing was fun. Like, not only did the kids have fun, I had fun too, man. We were going down the slides. They had a bunch of like water slides going down. You can go in groups, you can go individually. There was just so much, and it was my first time being there. And dude, like, honestly, I highly recommend it if you guys are looking for something in California. Go there. It's so freaking fun. Pero now that I got a tan, that means I am gonna be able to go back to my summer shades. So I have a lot of different foundations when it comes to summer and winter. I do get a lot more deeper in the summer. I'm gonna start off with my complexion. You guys already see I got my brows on. This is not a brow tutorial, so I'm gonna be only focusing on the complexion. First things first, before you do any heavy makeup, please do your skincare. You're gonna be able to notice a difference after you do your skincare with your makeup. It's just gonna apply more better, and the result is gonna look more flawless. So to prep my skin, I did go in with 3 items. First one in with this vitamin C oil from Pixi, and I absolutely love this one. It's oil based, so I put a little bit of drops on all over my face and kind of gently like massaged it in. And then after that, I did moisturize my face using this Glow Recipe Banana Souffle Moisture Cream. Girl, this thing, oh my god, I love it. I tried it on for my BoxyCharm once and I misplaced it, and I was looking for it all over the place, but luckily I was able to find it, and here it is. I used it today. My skin looks absolutely beautiful. Not only that, but it smells delicious. Y luego, I did go in with this Retinol eye cream. This one's from Pixi Beauty as well. So I put a few drops right underneath the eye area right here, and I just massaged it with my ring finger, with these fingers right here, because supuestamente, if you use these fingers when applying moisturizer or creams like that, it's more gentle. So the point of this is to smooth out that area. So I use those 3 combined. I will list them down below in the description just in case you guys are interested in purchasing any of these or trying to find them. Pero after this, I am gonna apply some primer. That one, so today I'm gonna be using my Makeup Revolution Pore Perfecting Primer. It's kind of like the putty primer from e.l.f. if you guys have tried it. So same thing, I'm gonna use my ring finger and I'm just gonna gently rub it in. It's gonna start melting into your hand. And I wanted to do this on camera because I wanted to show you guys exactly the areas that I put it in, because priming my face to me honestly makes such a difference, especially because I have very visible open pores. So this one, it kind of fills them in. So I'm gonna apply those to those areas that I feel that my pores are like, girl, you need to fill something in. So I'm gonna apply it right here because that's where I feel like I need it the most. And I do have very visible pores on the tip of my nose right here. And you want to go gentle with this. You don't want to overdo it, because then you will have some complications when applying your foundation. You know, things will get messy if you don't apply the right amount. I also like to apply it where I have more textured areas. So like right in the little mustache area, for some reason I feel like se me mira mucho texture. So I like to apply a little thin coating right there and right here on my chin. Now let's get into the foundation. Today I'm gonna switch things up just a little bit, because usually when it comes to on camera, like, I do full on foundation all over, because when I record my videos on camera, like, no se sale tanto the pigmentation. I have to exaggerate a little bit so you guys are able to see the makeup clearly. Pero today I'm gonna show you guys how to do it when it comes to like in person. So what I like to do when I apply my foundation, I like to apply it in the center of my face and then kind of distribute it out. Pero I just seen a video from Ayla Sarai, and she used this technique that I was mind blown. I think she saw it on TikTok from somebody else. I'm not too sure exactly who, you know, started this technique, but I love it, and that's something that I would like to try out. And it's kind of very similar to the technique that I use. So like I mentioned earlier, the heaviest foundation or the heaviest amount, I like to play it to the center of my face and then distribute it out. So what she did was first went in with the tinted moisturizer and then applied a light coat and then put on the heavy foundation in the center. So it's kind of like what I'm doing, pero I mean, I want to see the result that I get with this one. So let's go in with the tinted moisturizer first. I'm going to use the Dream Urban Cover. This one's from Maybelline, and this one's in the shade 310 Sun Beige. And what she did is put it to the palm of her hands and kind of rubbed it in. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to work out. I totally forgot that this one definitely smells like sunscreen because it does have SPF. And I like the coverage on this one. I've worn it a few times because I'm more of a full coverage type of girl, pero oh my god, this feels so different doing it with my hands. Like, it's so messy, but I mean, it's blending in nicely, and it does feel kind of like a moisturizer. So you guys can see that it looks like my skin, pero no más improved because it's just a thin little layer of the foundation, and that's exactly what I like to get all around the border of my face. So it's just like not too much makeup. Now when it comes to the center, like I said, I like that extra full coverage because I do tend to have a lot of like redness right here, visible pores y todo eso. So for the full coverage foundation, I'm gonna go in with my Frankie Rose Matte Perfecting Foundation. Now this one, I am almost out of it. Like if I try to pump it, girl, ni creo que, oh, sí me salió un poquito. Okay, so let's use that, and I'm gonna put that right in the center of my face right here where I like the max coverage. I'm also applying some on the tip of my nose because también ahí tengo muchos pores, so let's go ahead and blend that in. Oh my god, dude, I really like this technique. Se ve bonito, like exactly what I was going for. And then look at my skin, it looks very luminous and glowy. The Matte Perfecting Foundation is super matte. So the fact that I, you know, mixed it up with the SPF moisturizer, like I felt like it was the right balance. You know, full coverage yet glowy. Now that we got the base ready, we can go ahead and do the highlighting contour part. Now this one is a little bit different. So a lot of people, you guys can see like the videos that they post on Instagram, they do like dramatic concealing under the eyes, you know, concealing on top of the forehead, on the chin, sculpted all around. I used to do that, pero like I said, this video is gonna be para que te mires bien en persona. The first thing that we're gonna need is a concealer. Now you're gonna need something that is gonna brighten up your under eye area. Lately I've been using this AOA Studio liquid concealer because girl, it has the coverage I'm looking for, and it definitely does brighten up. So I am in the shade Buff. I'm gonna apply a little bit right in my under eye area. So the first time that I applied this, I overdid it, and girl, I'm gonna put only a little bit this time because yeah, say that a little bit goes a long way with this concealer. So I'm gonna take my sponge and just kind of blend it all in. Now notice that I'm kind of making a line right next to my nose right here because that's the area that I do want to highlight, right on the sides of my nose. And that's going to be very important when it comes to the nose contouring. So just make sure you do that little extra step right here. And I'm not dragging the concealer down to my cheek, just kind of at a downward angle right here, and then bringing it upwards right here. And it's kind of like a downwards triangle right here. And a lot of people used to use this method. They don't now because of the famous TikTok trend that you only apply a little bit of concealer here in the inner corner. But when it comes to highlighting and contour, I feel like this step is very important. And I feel like it makes the difference when highlighting right here. So I kind of want to emphasize that. And now one thing that I want to point out right here, sometimes you might feel like it's not enough coverage or it's not enough brightening, pero you have to think of the future products that we're going to apply. So I am going to apply some face powdered products. So that's why I am not going to add more concealer than this. This is enough. You guys are going to see right now when I put my powder products on my face, it's going to do the job. So just leave it at that and just make sure that you have it all nice and blend out. You do not want any harsh lines. I mean, it looks good to me so far, so let's move on to the next step. Let's get into setting the face, and I'm gonna go in with my one and only Frankie Rose Pro Contour Palette. I use this every single time. You guys have seen me countless times using and abusing this palette because look at the, you know, I could use all of these shades for my face. So I'm gonna use this to set my face and to sculpt it as well. The first shade that I'm gonna be using is something close to my face shade. So if you guys do not have this palette, find some kind of powder that is similar to your face shade. As far as this palette goes, I am gonna use the shade Whisper. I'm gonna go in with a face powder brush. I'm gonna take some of that shade right there, and I'm gonna just gently start tapping all of my face to set it except where I applied my concealer. So I'm not gonna apply this shade in the under eye area, just all around. Now this step as well, you want to go in lightly because you are only setting your foundation. You're not trying to cover anything. That's the point of the foundation. This is just to set it to make sure it is locked and loaded and it's not going nowhere. So once you are done putting on this powder, I'm going to go on with the next one. So now let's go on to the brightening part. I'm going to use this second shade of the palette, which is called Doll Face, and I'm going to take it with a smaller fluffy brush. It's a face brush as well, but it's like pointed, a little bit fluffy, and I'm going to take some of that shade and I'm going to apply it right in the areas where I concealed. And now you see what I mean when I was talking about like you don't have to apply no more concealer when you put on the face powder. It's gonna do its job. So I'm using the side of this brush right here to kind of line up my nose. I'm gonna put a little bit on the center of my forehead to brighten that up just a little bit right here, and a little bit on my chin. Now here comes the fun part. We're gonna sculpt our face. I'm gonna use the same face palette. I'm gonna use this last shade right here, which is called Tempting, and I'm gonna take it with this rounded brush. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that Tempting shade right there, and I'm gonna begin sculpting on my face. The areas that you want to target is the areas that you want to snatch up, so you feel like you have more chubby cheeks. Maybe you want to add a little bit right here on the sides. If you have a little bit of a larger forehead, that's the area that you want to contour out. También on your jawline, just depends on your face. I have an oval face and I do have chubby cheeks, so I like to, you know, try to hide that a little bit. So I'm gonna begin with my cheeks, and I'm gonna go right here, suck in your cheeks like this. And then you will find the hollow space, and that's where you wanna apply your contour. So let's go ahead and do that like that. And now I do not like to grab a lot of product at the same time. I just like to go in one little dab like that at a time and build up the product. You know, I don't want it to be dramatic. I want it to be soft. I just like to follow this hollow space, and then I kind of like to bring it up right here. Since I do have rounded off cheeks, I like to emphasize that just a little bit. Like that. I feel like it looks a lot more masculine if I do it straight down. And of course, make sure you are blending it out nicely. You do not want any harsh lines, anything noticeable right there. Just enough product so when the sunlight hits you, you are able to see a nice little shadow right there, and it makes you look naturally sculpted. Now let's go into the second part, which is my jawline. I love to emphasize this area right here. You can't really see anything, it's just all foundation like this, but once I apply a little bit of this contour, you guys are gonna see the difference. Watch. Just right underneath it, not above it like on my face, but right underneath it right here. And I like to take it up behind the ear right here, following my natural curve. I'm only doing one side right now so you guys are able to see the difference when I'm done. And this one, don't be scared to go a little bit more heavy on there. You're not going to be able to see it as much. I mean, unless people are all up in your face and you're looking up. Just make sure you put the right amount. This part right here, girl, the TMJ area, that is where I like to put the most of the product. I mean, I already feel like I have a defined jawline, but this one, this little trick, just makes it stand out even further. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, but a little bit faster since I already explained this side. But of course, I'm going to do it again just in case, you know, you didn't get it the first time. Maybe this time it'll help. By the way, all these brushes that I'm using, they are all from Shop Miss A, so I'm gonna link them down below. It's a whole brush set. I think it's only like $10, very affordable. I'm using all of their brushes. I've been loving them so far. One of their brushes that I'm gonna be using next is the E135 brush from the same brush collection. This is a blending brush, but it's kind of a little bit on the flat side like this, so I have a little bit of control over it when sculpting my nose. So this one is a little bit more technical. I have a narrow nose from right here, but when it comes down to the tip, it's like a little bolita, very rounded off, and that's one thing that I do not like, and I like to hinder that bolita right here. So I'm gonna like break it down for you first and tell you the areas that I'm gonna apply it and why, just so it could make a little bit more sense, and then I'll apply it. So I'm gonna begin with the product, and I'm gonna apply it from my brow, following the natural line down my nose. And since my nose kind of curves out like this, kind of make it like a triangular shape right here, and then following down on my nostril right there. So that's the shape that I'm gonna go for. So now I'm gonna take some of that same contour shade, and a little bit at a time. Like I said, better to build it up than to lose control over pigment. So I like to begin right in the center of my nose, right here, and then I am able to kind of like have control over the lines and where I'm following. So you guys can see automatically you're able to start seeing a shadow right there on the side of my nose. And then I'm gonna start to drag that into my brow. If you wanna elongate your nose, take it to your brow. If you want a more short nose, you can definitely drag that into the crease right here of your eye. Pero I like to do it all the way up to my brow. Now note that I'm only applying the product right in the center of my nose. Any excess, that is what I'm dragging upwards. I don't want the product to be directly on my brow, because that is gonna look crazy, girl. You're gonna make sure it's just like a nice little shadow. Nothing too dramatic, so you guys are able to see the difference right away. This one's nicely carved. And then as we start getting lower, I'm gonna apply some more product, pero right in that little triangular space that I told you, right there. So I'm gonna follow my nostril right here and make like a little L. So you guys can see, like right here, I'm going down, following my nostril and kind of making it a little piquito right there. Let me go in straight so you guys can see. And notice I'm not going in that far, just a little bit, but trust me when I say this, that little bit of contouring will make the difference. So you don't have to just completely like X out your whole nose, like take it all out. It's just a little bit that we're doing. Same thing to the other side. Don't worry if you're getting your contour like right in the center of your nose. We are gonna fix that right now. First thing we gotta do is just sculpt it. I mean, realistically, when I do this, it takes me a few, like 1 minute or so. But obviously, since I'm like explaining every single step, it's taking me a little bit longer, but this is usually like one of the quickest steps of my makeup routine. Basically, what I'm trying to say is don't overwhelm yourself. It's not as hard as it looks. Once you get it the first time, you will be able to do it more and more times, easier and faster. I'm just kind of explaining to you so you know. Find the shape of your nose. Look for what areas you want to hinder and contour. And the last area of my nose, I like to put it right in between my nostrils right here. Just kind of like flatten it out. Because like I said, I have a round tip nose and I kind of want to not square it off, but just not make it as round looking. You know what I mean? Let me put my nose up so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So just right here. Remember, you want to keep it light, nothing too heavy. People will be able to see it looking crazy in person. Now this next step is basically taking the sculpting to the next level, to the snatching level. So what I'm gonna go in with today is Jaclyn Cosmetics Brightening Banana Powder. This has become my favorite powder thus far. It is so freaking good, you guys. So I'm gonna put some onto the cap, and using my beauty sponge, I'm gonna use this tap it in like this. I like to use this sponge. This one is from One Wire. You guys can find it at Walmart. Very affordable, and I like to press it like this. And the reason why I like this sponge is because it has hard edges, so you are able to use the hard edges when applying this powder onto your nose, because this is gonna take it up a level when it comes to snatching that up. Van a ver ahorita. So you guys are seeing that the contour is all over my nose. So what I'm gonna do is use the ridges of this sponge right here, the sides, and just kind of stamp it down like this. Not completely over the whole contour. You guys are able to see a nice little thin line right there, but just the sides of my nose. Oh, let me remove it from there. And also along the nostril right here. So just following that contour right there, and I'm placing the X's right underneath my eye area because I want to make sure it's like nice and smoothly blended out. You don't want any harsh baking lines right here only. So this is just gonna make sure everything is tied up completely. Now I'm gonna go in with that same powder and I'm gonna sculpt out right here. I'm gonna place it right here where my ear is, right underneath that area that we applied that contour. And I know usually a lot of people like to drag it just down, but like I said, I like to emphasize my cheeks. So I'm kind of gonna follow that all the way around like this. And the X's, I like to dab it all the way around my mouth, tapping it down just so it's like a nice little even coat. Like I said, I like everything to be even. Dude, I look so freaking crazy right now, but I promise you at the end, van a ver que todo se va a mirar todo bonito. So now taking that little face brush that we used earlier, I'm gonna brush away everything, taking it outwards like this, look. You don't wanna bring it in and ruin that contour that we did, or just outside. Just bring it out. Alrighty, we are now completely done sculpting the face. Now we can get on to bronzing and blush, highlight, todo eso. So the difference, I want to explain this real quick because a lot of people confuse bronzing and contouring. Contouring is to sculpt out your face. I like to use something with a grayish undertone so the shadow is more natural. Bronzing, on the other hand, is more of a golden tone. That's going to add a little bit of color to your face. If you guys are looking a little bit more on the pale side, remember those are the two differences. Now that we are done with this step, we can go ahead and add a little bit of bronzer. And today I'm going to use my Hoola bronzer from Benefit. I'm going to go in with the same brown brush that I used for contouring. So the areas that I'm going to add this bronzer is around my face, just making sure that everything matches, because right now you guys can see the harsh contour on my cheeks, but on my forehead it kind of just looks like one tone. We want to get that little ombre effect all around my face, so I'm going to begin with my forehead. And this, I like to pull it back into my hairline just like that, so it blends in. I'm gonna go like basically all around my face. If at any time you feel like you overdid it, go back with that little powdered brush that we used earlier for baking, but do not apply any excess product. Just use whatever you have on the brush already and just go back in and kind of fade out, like right here. You see how I made that difference? You know, you always want to play with the both shades and go back and forth to get whatever result you want. Like if you want it a little bit more harsher, then you can definitely leave it at that. But if you want a little bit more brightening, go ahead and add some more. Same thing right here on your cheeks. If you feel like it's too harsh, you can definitely go back and play with it a little bit more. Now I'm going to add a little bit more color to my face using my California blush from Benefit as well. I'm going to go in with this angled blush brush from the same collection, AOA Studio. I'm going to tap it in, place that onto my cheekbones. I like to smile on this part so I'm able to see exactly where I'm placing. And little by little, you're going to see your face coming along. Everything's going to look more put together. And I'm going to use the E138 brush from the same collection. I'm going to go in with my cookie highlighter from Benefit. I'm going to use this to apply a little bit of highlighter down the ridge of my nose. I want it nice and brightened. I do not want to pass those lines where I contour. Just like right in the center of my nose right here. You want to make sure that this part is very narrow. Don't want to overdo it. Don't take it up too high either. If you do, just kind of blend it out like this with your finger. But just make sure you stay right in the middle of your nose. I don't like to take it all the way down. Just como halfway right in the center. And then I'm going to add some onto the tip. But when I add it to the tip, I do it kind of like sideways like this. I don't do it upwards. I do it sideways like this. See? So it kind of emphasizes the shape. Oh girl, that was blinding. I forgot how powerful this highlighter is. You guys get the point. I'm also going to highlight my cheekbones. I'm going to use the same angled brush that I use for my blush. And I'm going to use kind of like the side of it and apply it right on the high points of my cheeks. Just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it, and I kind of want to blend it in with the blush so it looks a bit more natural than just like a thin little line of highlight. I've been doing this lately and I really love how it looks when the sun hits it. So you see how it blends in with the blush? It's more of a natural glow. That's exactly what you're looking for when you're going out places, especially like out in the sun. You want to make sure your makeup looks as part as your skin rather than just sitting on top. And of course, for the last step, to lock in everything that we just applied, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Beauty Rose Water Setting Spray. I actually been loving this spray. Like, I've been using the crap out of it. I love the nozzle and how it sprays out. So I'm going to spray this all over my face. I like to go in very heavy, very wet, just to make sure every single area of my face is covered. And this is also gonna help with like the little powdery effect that all the products combined. You know, sometimes when you're done with your makeup and you can see the powder on top and you're like, girl, like that does not look cute. Well, setting your face with something wet will help with that. Alrighty, amigas, I am done with the face routine. I'm going to pop on some lashes and a lippy real quick, just so you guys can get an idea of how everything looks when it's done. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. And we are back with the final look. Now this time, girl, I did remember what lashes I used. These are from Shop Lash Dreams and they were in the style Lavish. They're very bold and dramatic, nice and perfect because I did a very simple look. I didn't do no eyeshadow, tied it up completely with a snatched face. Oh my god, this routine, I loved it. I love the fact that I incorporated the tinted moisturizer along with the foundation. Highly recommend that step. But this is the outcome of today's look. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Leave me any comments, any questions down below, just so I can answer them in case I didn't answer them in this video. But that is it. That is all I have for you guys today. Of course, if you guys liked watching this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to follow me on all my social medias. You guys can find me at Alma Rivera Beauty on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Do not leave my channel before subscribing, girl, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!